So, welcome to the Explain It podcast with Caroline Cain and Ingrid Hernandez. Caroline's having a little bit of a difficulty with our StreamYard, but she's on her way. She's having like a camera problem. But thank you all for joining us. As you guys know, we've been primarily focusing on mostly Q&A opportunities for folks who are just getting started. I literally had somebody in my DMs today asking about like, hey, I want to get started in real estate investing, but I have so many questions. Do you have some one-on-one time? And I'm like, I don't, but I do have a podcast that can help you with some of your questions. And it looks like we have our other co-host ready to roll. I guess she got her camera working. So
I did. Sometimes StreamYard just doesn't want to let me in. So thanks for getting the show started, Ingrid.
Yeah.
Where are you?
So as you know, with my loss of my W-2, which is like my safety net money, I had to reconsider what my office space looked like. So now I'm office mating with somebody. That sounds awful. Yeah. So I'm an office mate to somebody. Office mating, the mating part. I shouldn't have said that word, but
Partners.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. That's pretty cool. I mean, just like a new layout. I really enjoyed it. Well, I love to see wherever we got Karina, that's in Massachusetts. It's good to see everybody on here. I know I called you earlier today, Ingrid, about a situation. I saw that you even put it on your Instagram story. So I apologize for being late, guys. Technical difficulties. I am at the edge of the Gen Z millennial, and I feel like I'm getting older and older with technology, which is crazy. But we're up and running now, and I know we had a lot of people jump on here last week. They were asking us questions. We brought you on, so we just figured we'd do another kind of Q&A and help you guys out, getting you to doing more deals and partnering with us so you guys can get some deals done. I actually had the beginning of the Zoom that I called you at the end of, Ingrid. I was talking about somebody who got to just JV with me. They called a lead. I went over to the lead, locked it up, and we got it closed. And I was asking them how many deals they've done. They're like, well, this is my first one with you. And I'm like, okay, how many other deals have you done? And they were like, well, actually, the other people I've worked with haven't been able to get anything to the finish line. So it's nice knowing that you're actually going to be able to bring this to a close. We're just waiting for the payoff from the mortgage company so we can get this thing all tied up and done. But I wanted to, I had a lot of people asking me, how do you know who you should JV with? What are questions you should ask? And who can you partner with? And I actually had to call Ingryd this morning because somebody asked me a question about something I didn't know about. And if you guys did not know this, Ingryd is a licensed realtor here in Phoenix. Ingryd, what brokerage are you with? Are you able to wholesale with your brokerage?
Yes, I'm with Real Broker out here, and they're national, so they're across the United States. And when I signed on, I actually asked for what's called a wholesaler's addendum, which if your brokerage can't produce a wholesaler's addendum for you, just know that at any point they could drop you if they don't have like an upfront contract about what's expected from you if you're going to be investing.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I called you because I call you all the time because I always forget it because I don't retain it because I'm not a licensed realtor. But I referred somebody to reach out to you on Instagram. So guys, if you ever want to ask us questions, you can message us on Instagram. But on Wednesdays at 4:00, we do our Explain It podcast where we make it easier for you guys to comprehend, understand how to get into doing more deals consistently, partner with us to be a part of a deal that will go successful from start to finish. But I brought you in because we are in Phoenix. And if you guys, anybody familiar with Phoenix? I mean, I had some visitors come out here and they're like, man, I feel like I'm in Mars right now. It's a completely different part. You would not even believe you're part of the United States when you come out here because it's so weird looking. But one of the things about Phoenix is it's so freaking hot. Do you guys know what a lot of homeowners do when they're out here in Phoenix? How they offset maybe some of their expenses, or what we've been told to use to offset some of our expenses? Anybody have any ideas? Sometimes people have to take over these leases when they're buying homes. Oh, nice. Look at that. Investor Queen Marine just said, just sign up with Real Brokerage. Thanks to Ingryd. That's awesome. I'm excited for you.
Yeah, we're having lunch on Friday. Mm-hmm.
Oh, here, one of our buyers we know. Solar. You're exactly right. Solar. So somebody asked me a question about solar panels, and I think you kind of answered it a little bit. So can we talk about that really quickly, what you did today? So somebody need help with the deal. I have no idea what happened. I just pushed them on to you because I know Tucson is one of your markets that you really love to work in. You have a few properties down there. You've done some fix and flips down there. What are you like? Why does solar suck? And what are you doing to potentially help out this pre-foreclosure homeowner?
So firstly, I have a property that we had to take over on a contract for deed just so that we could keep the solar company happy. Although I have found out there's a better way of doing it through the contract for deed. I'd still take it sub 2, but just make sure that title omits the solar part. Because there's a solar company out here. I'll drop their name. It's Good Leap. They do the way that they investor raise is that all the solars that they put on properties will be owner occupied. So they expect that the properties are owned by a person. And I truly believe part of it is also so that they can go after the person in case they stop getting paid. That way that judgment stays with you. If it's an LLC and you're really good at business structure, those solar companies know that once that money is lost, it's totally lost. Like they won't have a strong way to go after somebody. So that's my personal opinion. I actually own a property out in the city of Surprise that's a short-term rental. And despite having solar on it, I still have to pay electricity, like big time. And I'm like, well, what the heck is the point of these solar panels? I thought it was supposed to, and I'm paying what, in my opinion, is a typical cost for electricity. So I'm just not sold that solar is the thing to have. But the guy who called from Tucson today, that was the problem, is that they were dealing with Good Leap. And he was trying to figure out if he could buy it cash, but manage, because he wants to flip it, but what to do about the solar. And then we had a conversation offline, so not during your daily dial. And because he wants to flip the house, it's like, well, just do a subtail and like a subtail using a contract for deed, and just do it that way, and just keep paying the solar, but the deed doesn't have to change.
That's pretty fascinating. And everybody new on here, just to understand what a subtail is. Actually, I had to talk about this a few times. I will know in probably an hour if we're getting another property under contract that's going to cash flow heavily. We're actually, I'm going to ask you another question here, Ingrid, because this might be helpful for everybody.
You're on fire, by the way. You are on fire. Dude, I love it.
Slow and steady, baby. You just start planting those seeds, guys. Yeah. You've got to build up your pipeline. This is why we did this last month. And I want you guys to see, actually, I found this shirt. It's not even my shirt, but I was like, Faith Moves Mountains. And I was like, I'm going to wear it for today and talk about it. I just jumped out. Honestly, I didn't want to do this podcast. If I'm being real with you guys, I'm freaking tired. I'm so tired. I had a phone call. And I was like, I got to go take a shower so I will wake up. Guys, I don't always want to do stuff. I'm exhausted. I feel my lymph nodes are getting really sore. I didn't sleep well. I have been talking on Zooms and meetings all day. I had to go help my team. I almost called you, Ingrid, because one of my team door knockers does speak Spanish. So they need help because I'm showing them how to have these conversations. So I 3-way conversation with a homeowner that speaks Spanish. I'm telling it to my team members so they can translate it to the homeowner. And I'm just gonna say, guys, I don't want to do the podcast. I'm tired. I want to take a nap. I'm already thinking like, should I get pizza? Pizza's not gonna help me feel better, but it would be a comfort thing. What do I want for dinner? How can I get comfortable? Because our body wants that comfort. But the reason I'm saying this is because we did this challenge last month and we're carrying it over because there's been so much interaction. And actually in a little bit, guys, I want to get 20 more people on this live. So if you guys could share the link to this YouTube video, get 20 more people. I'm going to throw a link in the side chat so you guys can come up and ask us questions. You must be on YouTube to be able to see that. So I'm talking to everybody here. I'm looking at you guys if you're on my Instagram live. If you want to come ask us questions, you got to get on YouTube so we can see you. We'll pull you up here. But you have to start building that pipeline up. This is the biggest thing I want to tell you. If you're not nurturing your leads, think of yourself as a gardener. Where is my gardening hat? I'm going to go get my gardening hat so you guys can see this. You need to think of yourself as a gardener when you're doing this, because if you're not freaking watering your seeds and you're checking in on them, you're going to have a rabbit come through. A rabbit's going to eat all your freaking stuff, and you're not going to be able to have anything to harvest when it's time, baby. How many different hats can I have? So you got to think of yourself as a gardener. Like I said, my little team group chat is called the Seed Planters. We're seed planters, and we're going over and talking to homeowners. We're planting the seed. We're planting the idea. We're their backup option, but you have to nurture these leads. And I'm going to give you guys some KPIs and some statistics that will help you out. By myself, when I was door knocking without a team, I was getting contracts on the first day. And that first initial outreach of homeowners and pre-foreclosure, when I was talking to them, they're like, I had more success. They're like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I really want to sell. So I'd have a contract in the first 10 days of that person going into notice of pre-foreclosure, notice of default. Now my team, they're new. They don't have as much sales experience. They don't really always know exactly what to say. That's completely okay. What they do know is that they have faith and they have conviction that we will be able to stop a foreclosure, because I've told them that. I have absolute certainty we can stop a foreclosure. Am I telling homeowners, hey, we're going to be able to get you money in your pocket, we're going to be able to help you stay in your home? No, not at all. But we are finding ways to help them with the options available to them after you ask them questions. And my team is actually my new people that don't have a ton of experience. They're getting contracts a lot from homeowners that have an auction in the next 10 days. So I'm telling you this, as soon as the notice comes out, we're contacting them. And then 10 days before the auction, we're going back over there and seeing what's going on. So I want to remind you, this woman that we're potentially going to be getting under contract, and in the next hour, we've already prepped title. We're like, hey, just letting you know, we're waiting for this to get signed. But I'm going to ask you a question about it, Ingryd, because we got something squirrely going on with it. She has her auction is actually in 5 days. Okay, so 10 days or less. Her auction's in 5 days. Like $900 in cash flow. Great. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. Beautiful opportunity here. We need to get photos and things, but we're going to get it under contract and see what we can do to help her figure out the payoff. But now I want to ask you a question, Ingryd, and this is for everybody on here. Okay? For everybody here. When you do the outreach with your homeowners, you want to make sure that you are cleared. I don't want to tell anybody I can get them money unless I know that. Give me all the pieces to the puzzle so I know what it's going to look like when it's done. I cannot tell you how much money I'm going to give you until I know what your total payoff is going to be. If you have rats living in your house, if there's black mold, what are we going to have to do to this? How much do we have to pay to catch the mortgage back up? Things like that. Okay. So I will never tell somebody, without a doubt, I can absolutely give you $50,000. Unless I know all of my figures. Okay. So with this homeowner, we don't know everything. She's going to be sending us her mortgage statement. She's getting all of that to us today. She's been passing things off for a while. But what I found, Ingryd, is somebody put her under contract on January 11th. They got her under contract on January 11th, and they filed a memorandum. And it said that they were going to close on February 29th. What she told us, we are now on April 3rd. She has not heard from them, and they did call her today, but she has not heard from them since she went under contract. And I was reading the memorandum because you file it with the county. I didn't see anything in there that said that they were allowed to file a memorandum without her signature. So I'm wondering, can the memorandum hold up? And this is, guys, I'm asking Ingryd this. She's over here now. I'm asking Ingryd this because she has more experience than me. She's been doing this longer than me. This is what these podcasts are for. When you see us going live, ask these questions. Is she a lawyer? No, but she's got more experience than me, and she might have the answer or the connection to somebody else. That's why I don't even know who I told Brandon to contact you earlier today about the solar, because I didn't know the answer for that. So Ingryd, what do you know? Like, if they did not try to close this and get everything taken care of back in February, they ghosted, and this is, it's he said, she said, but from what our homeowner's telling us, they never contacted them. And look at that, Greg said, I'm dealing with this right now. So there is a memorandum filed. I've talked to Jennifer Larkin as the escrow officer before, and she said, if sometimes people will put memorandums on properties, and if they really cannot close or they don't intend to close, the memorandum is no good. So what do you know about memorandums? What can I do here?
Okay. So firstly, let's talk about memorandums. And again, I love the fact that you reminded people that I am not a lawyer. I do have a justice studies degree, but I'm not a lawyer. I decided not to pursue becoming a lawyer. What I do know about memorandums is that you do require the seller's permission to file them. So if nothing clearly outlines that, let's say you do go to litigation, you have that as a part of what's hinging on the seller. Now, this is, and again, I'm an agent, so understand that perspective. This is why we do have real estate agents who specialize in the management of real estate transaction, right? We always make it about the sales pitch, like, oh, it's easy to take pictures and just throw it on MLS. Well, can your agent negotiate your buyer inspection report that comes back? Like, I help people in that process. And that process, I could save my seller thousands of dollars, or I could get my buyer thousands of dollars through that negotiation. So it's less about sales and more about protection and having good representation. So anyway, in this scenario, had the seller had an agent, I would have sent what's called a cure notice to those people who submitted the memorandum. And that meant that they have 3 days to perform on that contract. So if they don't perform in 3 days, and in Arizona, that's our default requirement is 3 days, unless your contract says something different.
Mhm.
Then if they don't perform in those 3 days and the seller has cured them, and a cure can just be a simple email delivered to those buyers to say, I'm giving you 3 days to perform. If not, I'm moving on, right? Like, it could be as simple as that. And that can be like, I've cured people, and I've just copied title just so that title is aware that I've required the other person as a part of that valid contract to perform. And so title can use that as evidence as well. So if she never cured them because she never had somebody beside her helping her through that transaction, then one thing that she might still need to do is actually cure them now.
So what does
She
that mean? She just needs to send them an email and say what?
She can cure them by sending an email to say, you were expected to perform and close on this contract by February 29th. We're now on April, whatever date today is. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
3rd. By the way, ever since I've gone full-time entrepreneur, I don't know what date it is anymore either. I don't know what that is about that. And so then you can send them a cure. At least the clock can start. If it was a really good deal for her, right, you can, go to sleep at night and know that those buyers had the best deal for her. But whilst that's happening, you could be working on the contract that this could be the backup offer in the meantime. That's the best approach, in my opinion, from like a contract law perspective. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but if there isn't enough substance in that contract and you've asked for the title company to give you an opinion, because title companies do have lawyers that can support this process as well, to say, what do you recommend as the next step? And if they say that that contract doesn't hold water, they can actually ignore that memorandum and go through your transaction. So there's two options there, and I would recommend getting the title company's lawyer involved.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm going to, I was actually just looking at my email. So we already told title that, hey, we're intending on getting this, and we found that there's a memorandum. And I'm just going to read the email that the title just told me.
Yeah.
I've sent this to the title. Literally, they just sent it 0 minutes ago is what my email says. I have sent this to title to see what information I can pull since this file isn't opened yet. I will let you know shortly. Do you have the trustees so we can reach out and try and get this postponed? As for the memorandum, we will need them to sign a release for that in order to close. What Ingryd just kind of said. So to send that kind of, what is it called? Clear? What is it?
Cure?
Cure? I knew it was something to see. To send that cure, you just send over like, hey, literally you can just send them an email and have the subject see cure contract, like, hey.
In the subject line, this email serves as your cure notice. You have 3 days to perform. Again, read the contract, because there are some folks who will add more notice or more days to the cure period, but the default in Arizona is 3 days.
So let me just make sure. I'll share my screen because I don't think this will share the address, and I think I could show you this. Let me just go through it. We could look at. Would you guys like to see this kind of memorandum thing, this contract that's been filed? Would this be helpful if we show you guys this and have somebody who did go pre-law and then decided to go into real estate investing because they wanted to buy their time back? Would that be helpful for everybody on here? Let's see. Let me just double check. Okay, Karina says yes. As long as the bottom of this, I just don't want everybody trying to go bombard my little homeowner. I don't think I see it anywhere down here. Perfect. Okay. So let me get to the part where it no longer shows the address, and we'll talk about it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Scroll right.
While
here.
she's doing that, by the way, there was somebody in the state of Arizona that I think the attorney general was going after because they were getting people under contract, had no intention, because intent is a part of the law. Like, what is your intention? But had no intention of closing, and they were just sticking memorandums. And so their approach was, I'm just going to put a memorandum. I don't even want to go through the process of actually, being a hardworking person. And I'm going to wait for somebody to come to me. So like Caroline, she can actually go to these buyers and say, hey, the only way this actually works is maybe through a creative process. And she can offer the buyer something to release the memorandum.
Memorandum. Yeah. Okay. So this seems like pretty normal stuff. Probate, payment of purchase, payable from escrow, acceptance. So I'm just going to I'm just skimming this. You're probably have more. Let me zoom in for you.
Yeah. Acceptance, opening and closing. Yeah.
Closing date. At or before closing, each party shall execute and deliver such documents that perform herein. All monies documented. Escrow agent 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for this. Seller agrees to cooperate with the buyer. So this is why I said, buyers are liars, sellers are worse. We don't know if the seller just ghosted them and they're telling us a different story. So don't always just take
exactly
the homeowners. We don't really know what's going on.
Which is a behavior we see a lot with folks in pre-foreclosure. They're like, okay, these people are going to just take care of everything. And then they don't even look at their email.
Okay. Title insurance. That's not really dealing with potential on what this is.
CNRs.
I don't really need a title report. That's a different thing. Buyer's objection. Seller shall be entitled to eliminate matters. Okay.
Oh,
closing.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Keep going. Sorry.
You're good. I stopped because I saw closing date.
Yeah.
Shall occur on or later than 10 days after buyer's recipient such notice from seller. The closing date of seller, buyer, right? Agreement shall automatically terminate 7 days after the delivery of such notice. So seller is unable and willing to eliminate said matters. It'll automatically, if there's like issues with the property, it'll just eliminate the
issues with title.
Yep. Okay. Buyer shall be obligated to close the escrow of latter 5 days after seller's recipient notification. Okay. I'm just not seeing anything in here that says they could do a memorandum. So I'm wondering how they were able to file a memorandum without the homeowner's discretion. Post-possession, we're not dealing with post-possession, as is title. Distribution of money, taxes and fees, assessments. I'm guessing they hid this to not show what's going to be happening here. Buyer contingencies.
Nope.
Pests, fungus, wood. These are things you just have to have on a contract, guys, to make sure you're good to go, especially here in Phoenix. Seller owns this. Making sure I'm not sharing any personal information. Earnest money, liabilities, remedies. So maybe it would be under remedy.
Remedies. In the event. In the event of default by buyer, seller's remedy shall be to cancel this agreement and retain the earnest money together with all accrued interest. Seller and buyer agreed that it would be impractical, extremely difficult to fix actual damage in case of buyer's default, that the amount of blah, blah, blah. What was the earnest money on this?
$500.
Well, that part is a component of what the default is. So in your written notice, in the event of default by seller, buyer may cancel this agreement by written notice in which blah, 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 earnest money plus any accrued interest. I would actually screen print the 19.1 and send that off to them. And then this notice part here, notices required or permitted hereunder shall be given in writing and personally delivered or sent by registered or certified mail. Actually, so this part does not allow for email.
Okay,
so you have to cure them through written paperwork.
Okay, we could do both though. We could email them and send them that. Maybe that would just get them to do it a little bit quicker.
Yep, that would be my recommendation.
I hope this is making sense for everybody. So don't just like say, well, now I have to go to the post office. You should do both. We can do both at the same time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're going to get in trouble if they don't cure. Okay.
Yep. And I would send a copy of this piece and like circle the part that is relevant to you serving them and giving them notice. This is when, and by the way, I used to be like, oh my God, it's so expensive to have an attorney. It's more expensive to not. We have an attorney on retainer for one of our properties where our new owner, because it's a wrap, they're habitually late. So every month now we send a demand letter. And if our attorney needs to put any hours against it, she uses that retainer we gave her. And it's like the best money ever spent because like our wrap buyer, who is now the owner of the property, finally like responds, right? But when we get our lawyer involved. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how many more pages there are about this, but generally
I got like 3 more, but I'm not seeing anything in here. I just don't know how they can even file a memorandum because I don't see there's anywhere that they gave the ability to sign a memorandum in this agreement. They have assignments. So I feel like maybe the memorandum is not even legit.
Yeah. But again,
that's what I'm looking at.
This is where things kind of get a little bit hairier and you actually want titles lawyer to give an opinion because intent is a part of like a seller signing a contract, meaning that they have an intention to sell, right? So just like when a buyer signs a contract, they have an intention to buy. So intent, again, I'm not a lawyer, could be enough to sway the title company to allow the memorandum to sit at. And by the way, that contract is written really well. I think most of that is copied from the Arizona contract that's allowed. So it's not like your flimsy 2-page, contract that doesn't hold a lot of weight. I think that contract actually has a lot of levity for both. Like both are expected to do some performance here. And so if it's a well-written contract, although it's missing you're allowed to do the memorandum part, it probably is comprehensive enough where a title company says, no, it holds weight. It holds enough weight for the memorandum to stick.
Gotcha.
So,
okay. I thought you had to have the seller's permission to file a memorandum when you were doing things, but if they have the intent to purchase, you can just file a memorandum.
Yes, if I was to give anybody advice, you should have explicit, so there is no gray around, are we or are we not allowed? One could argue as a buyer that the intention behind that contract was significant enough that it allowed them to file. And then you could go and mitigate that in the court of law or arbitration. You don't want to go that far though. So in my opinion, that contract is comprehensive enough that probably carries enough weight for a memorandum. However, the seller also needs to do their part, and I would just cure them to say, okay, sure. If this contract is comprehensive enough, if title is saying it, they actually need to release the memorandum and just serve them now and get that part over so that you're not waiting. Serve them as soon as possible.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I hope that was helpful for some people to learn about memorandums and just kind of how that thought process goes in. Yep.
And that's, at the end of the day, it's up to the title company. So if title company is saying, hey, our lawyers are saying they need to release it, the lawyers are probably saying this is a pretty good contract. So
does anybody know why we go on what our title company says? There was so much mystery behind a title company when I first started in real estate investing, and I didn't understand. Do you guys know why title companies want to make sure everything is by the book? Hint, hint, hint. Whenever we're purchasing properties, Ingrid, what do we always purchase when we buy 2 things? We buy the house, and what else do we buy?
Title insurance.
Title insurance. Why do we get title insurance, Ingrid?
Title insurance assures you that you have a third-party entity that has agreed that there should be no reason for you to be able to convey title. Like somebody has the right to convey title to you. And so if that's ever at question, then the title insurance company is now required to resolve that matter. Sometimes it means just extra paperwork needs to be signed, so it's pretty benign. And in other times, they actually means that they have to pay you out the amount that they've secured through their title commitment. So, want to know something else about your assignment fee?
Tell me.
It's not insured.
Mm.
So let's say you have this under contract for $320 to the seller.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to make $30,000 on it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody goes through closing, you sell it, and now you have a title insurance problem. Title will only cover what went to the seller. They will not cover your assignment fee, and you may be required to pay that back. So that is one reason why double closings are becoming more popular, especially with land. There's so much fraud in land that I would recommend, if you're doing any land deals, always double close. Why? Because that first leg, that A to B contract, is protected by that title insurance, and then B to C is also protected, and that should be your assignment. That should include your assignment fee. So both are protected through that process. So yeah, I learned that from Anthony Pappas, who we had on the podcast early last year.
I remember that being said. That's actually a very fascinating fact. So I hope that's educational for everybody. Make sure you're always protected. You want to do that, especially when you have private money lenders involved, all of those things. Get the title insurance to protect you. But interesting to know about the double closing. I wonder, yeah, that's a fun fact. So this is a lead that came from somebody who is their auctions on Wednesday, I think. So we really got to move quickly, and you got to think about the business days that you can get stuff done. So you always want to kind of get things pulling, and this is why it's really nice to have a title company that you can count on that'll do stuff fast. Touch base with them. We have multiple people that, actually, I don't even think we knocked this door. I think this was just from calling and texting them. So this is from my door knocker just doing their phone calls. So for everybody on here, don't think we have 2 deals that we got in the last month from just making phone calls. You don't have to go and door. They're not always answering the door. Ingrid?
But did you mention that the buyers actually responded to the seller?
No, so the buyers reached out. Yeah, this wholesaler, because in there it did say it's assignable. They tried to get a hold of the seller today, is what she told my team. So I don't know what's going on with it. She talked to us in between, like, her shift at work. So we're going to try and find out everything that we can. I'm going to assume they were ready to close and she got scared or something and did not interact with them. We don't know all sides of the story, but we can reach out to them. And then they were willing to give her, on the thing, it said they were going to give her some money, but this was back before she's already missed another 2 months of mortgage payments. So they're even further behind. I don't know if she's going to walk away with anything. So we're getting the payoff so we can figure out what we can get her money-wise and how it can work out as a long-term rental and be able to cash flow. So just for everybody.
Is this a creative deal or a cash deal?
It'll be a creative deal. It's not. It'll be too upside down to be a cash deal.
You don't need a payoff.
Well, I mean, I guess should restate this. We need to know what the reinstatement amount is.
Okay. Yeah.
Because she doesn't know. She's like, this is another thing. I'm not going to go over to the homeowner and be like, so it's exactly $20,000. I like to give a range because there's late fees that are included, attorney fees. So I said between $18,000 to $22,000, somewhere in there. That's not going to help me when I'm underwriting. I want to make sure that my numbers are as tight as they possibly can be when I'm looking at a deal. So anyways, fun little tidbit. This is why you ask Ingryd questions. And what I'm going to do is throw in the side chat, as long as you guys are on YouTube, right over here. I just put it in the side chat for everybody. There's a link. It says StreamYard. You can click on that. You can come up on stage and ask us questions. All you need to do is when you click on that, make sure you leave YouTube because there will be an echo when you come on. So join us up here and we'll answer your questions. I want to go through a few of these questions that I already see in the side chat. So Angel said, hello, ladies. What is the average cost of title insurance, or does it depend where you are located? I'm actually going to assume it's cheaper to get title insurance in nowhere, Indiana than it is in LA. But Ingrid, you would have more experience than me because you've gone and done more deals everywhere?
I would say they're pretty average. I see them as low as 1,200 to up to like 2,500 in the price ranges that I work in. So like ARVs that are less than 600,000. So that's about what I see now. Sometimes if you're a fix and flipper, for example, you can have what's called a binder rate. So if you deal with the title company on your acquisition and then you sway people to use that same title company on the sale, they'll give you a break on your rates for title insurance, like almost half. So
Say that one last part one more time.
It's called a binder.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you use the same title company for when you buy it, and then when you fix it up and then you sell it, they'll give you a binder rate or a returning customer rate, if you will, so that you're paying because technically all the title work is done at that point. It's really, an extra piece of paper that they're having to just manage to.
That's fascinating. Okay. I didn't know. That makes so much sense why people are always like, we have title open over here.
Yep,
It's
exactly.
easier for us to do this. The little tips and tricks you
I get so excited when I teach you something. I'm like, oh my God, I just taught Caroline something.
Something new. I love this. Mike said, just found this page. Is this a weekly thing? Yeah. Every Wednesday at 4:00 Arizona time, we are on here. We have different guests on. So just the whole point is making it easier for you guys to help you guys be successful. Let me see if there's any other questions. Oh, here we go. Ingrid, do you only help sub 2 in Arizona?
No, I will help people in other states. My favorite states to help in, though, is Texas, Nevada, Arizona, because I'm most familiar with like those real estate laws. There's some that are a bit goofier that I'm just not as familiar, but I've done deals in, like for Florida, for example. Every time you go through a Florida deal, there's always an extra $3,000 to $4,000 transfer tax charge that I just think is ridiculous. But I guess when you're not paying income taxes, they have to make up for it in other ways. So
they're still going to tax you some one way or another.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So how should people reach out to you, Ingrid, if they want help with stuff outside of Phoenix?
Just DM me on my Instagram. And I might not even be the person that you ultimately get help from. I know so many amazing people across the United States that honestly, I may connect you with somebody else. Like I've sent people to like Chris Jean Baptiste in New York, because in New York, you don't really use title companies, you use lawyers, and then you have to know there's very, very select lawyers who will actually do creative deals, and it's not as easy as it would be in Arizona. So I'm like, I don't even want to touch that. So I send everybody to Chris. And it's different if you're in like New York City versus like, upstate New York. Very different arrangement there too. This is going to annoy me. Like I have to turn this light on and on, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense though. So if we can't have the answer for you, we'll direct you to somebody who does. So is it, I'm dyslexic. Is that Suede or
Suede.
is that Suede?
Yeah,
okay.
Suede.
Suede said, are you hitting the doors right when these notices drop? I know they get flooded with door knockers off the bat, but curious to your approach. Yeah, so the way that we have, when a lead comes into our system, my team calls them immediately. You can call them. Once you call them, try and get a hold of them. Does not work, text them, and then we door knock them. But yeah, we're trying to hit them on the same day, and we call them and text them as well. So just speed to lead. Think about time kills all deals. You want to be as fast as possible getting a hold of them, which can help you guys out a ton. And then I love Deborah just said, thank you. Okay. I see that we have Dawn backstage. So I'm about to pull you up, Dawn, just to make sure I get the last few questions. Mike Powell said, so contract for deed, does the investor ever actually take ownership before the subtail retail buyer?
Yes. So technically a contract for deed is just another type of mortgage. The IRS sees it as an actual sale. So when people say, I've seen this before and it scares me. It scares me that they don't understand tax law enough for this. But if you sell your property on a contract for deed, you're now a note holder. So just like a mortgager, you hold a note. You are not the owner. And so once you sell for and you buy, if you purchase on contract for deed, you can take depreciation, you can take the tax benefits because you're the one actually paying for the home taxes. And so the real estate taxes. So in a contract for deed, you're technically the owner. The one thing that's not happened is the deed hasn't transferred. So it's the same type of ownership when you buy a car. My Tesla that's sitting out there, we have a loan on it. Do we have our name in the deed? No, the title has not yet changed over to our name until we've satisfied the debt against it. So absolutely. In my opinion, if you can do a contract for deed in the state of Arizona, and the sellers are not in like a financial weird position, like they're not in pre-foreclosure, sometimes I think contract for deeds are just the easiest way because it keeps everybody kind of, on the up and up. And from an owner's perspective, because I actually have a property on a contract for deed, literally I can take the house back after 10 days if you're in default. And if you define default as being late on one singular payment, it actually works better than what people used to try to use, which actually had no water, like wouldn't hold water in court, which was a performance deed. If you do a contract for deed, you can actually put some pretty strict requirements on there. Even TurboTax has a section for selling and seller finance or other creative. Oh, that's super cool. I don't use TurboTax.
Guys, it's more common than you think. It's just that people don't talk about it as much. Like when realtors say sub 2 is illegal, well, why is it on the contract for your state that you can buy property subject to? Like, why would they put that there if it's illegal? It's literally on your contract. So, loving the questions though. You guys can keep them coming in the side chat. I'm going to bring Dawn Walker up here so we can hear what she's got going on. Dawn, what's up, girl? What you got cooking?
What's up, ladies? Hey, thanks so much for doing this. I actually have a lead that someone brought me, and pre-foreclosures and foreclosures are not my forte. And so it's something that's not in my niche. And I want to make sure we're handling it the best way possible.
Okay.
Because this couple is disabled and he's behind already in payments, hasn't got the notice as far as he knows yet.
Okay.
And so he's trying to find the best way to sell the house.
Okay.
Selling it cash will not be enough, right? As an investor, someone's going to need to come in much less than what he owes. The ARV on it is probably about $100K. It's in Ohio.
Oh, okay. Is it in a good market in Ohio, or is it like a small town?
No, it's in Toledo. So it's in a popular area. It's just there's nothing in the area to support new renovations done. That seems like there's a lot of just people buying as retail buyers, but there's a lot of investors that have bought in the last 6 months. There just hasn't been anything recently sold to reflect that.
Gotcha.
So for him, trying to come up with the best options because they need 30 to 45 days to move. My first thought.
Why do they need 30 to 45 days?
Because he doesn't have enough funds to be able to pay the mortgage and go find a place to live. And so my first thought was we could buy this sub 2 and then sell it on the market, or we can do a sub tail and do it that way.
Okay.
The problem is,
what's the PITI in this?
Don't know that yet. He's getting us the mortgage statement. I believe it may be around 1,000 just based on my calculations.
Okay.
But I could be completely wrong. That's just estimated. But he's about 2,200 or 2,100 in arrears right now.
Okay, so we're less than 3. So I would, whenever you're doing your arrears, always account for attorney fees and late fees. So 22 to 23, just be safe and say it's $3,000 just for that little cushion. So let's just say $3,000 behind. And I'm taking notes on all of this, guys, but I'm from Indiana. I'm from nowhere, Indiana. So $1,000 for mortgage in Ohio is actually like probably right around what a rent rate could be potentially. Do you what is the rent rate on this property?
Yeah.
So what I saw in the rent rate was probably between $800 to $1,200. So
it's not really going to cash flow,
but it's a really good interest rate. It's like 2.8.
Yeah. So, I mean, interest rates are great if you're ready to take on a property. It's not going to be able to cash flow for a year or 2 years. I don't know. I left the Midwest for a reason. I don't know what's popping in Toledo. I know there's a college there, but how big is the house?
Not even 1,000 square feet. It's just under.
So probably not a pad split. I was thinking, like, how could you get the most out of it and get more bang for your buck if it's not even 1,000 square feet? You're not going to be able to put a lot of bedrooms in there.
Can I ask a question though before we go too far? Do you know if they've applied for a loan modification?
So I think he tried to do bankruptcy and got denied. And I think he did try to do a loan modification, but got denied for that.
Okay. And being that he's not that far behind, I would also consider looking at other nonprofits in that state to see if they can help him with like mortgage support of some sort. Just because I know that this is somebody with disabilities, and so they're also up against finding like an ADA compliant place to live.
Yeah.
So their best bet is probably going to be an apartment. And many apartments are required to have ADA compliant, a percentage of them to be ADA compliant. So that's going to be a tough one. Mm-hmm.
I agree. I was talking with the person that brought me the lead, and I said, hey, even if he doesn't want to sell his house, let's figure out what his situation is to at least get him in the right direction. Like if he wants to rent, tell me how much his rent is, and maybe I can find a place to go to, or we can figure out what programs he needs to be in. Because it's really more about he's getting ahead of it. Let's help him get there faster.
Yeah, he cares.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I will say you may be really early on the process. I understand like a trustee, like a lawyer fees and all that, but he might be so early on that the whole process of the mortgage hasn't started. So whatever's on the mortgage statement probably is going to be what is behind. Like there probably isn't other fees other than maybe late fees that are, but those have to be actually outlined in his mortgage statement.
Right.
So it might not even be that far. So
okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking on the right track here, as at least trying to find programs for him or solution. Because even as a subtail, if we even get to that direction, there's not a whole lot of room in there anyways. And so it's more of we can come in and fix it up for a little bit. You might be able to do a pad split because the basement isn't finished.
928? No. Yeah. I would say for pad splits, if it's anything less than 2,000 square feet, you're wasting your time.
But the basement may not be included in the square footage because it's not finished.
Yeah, but at 900, like let's say it's a mirror of the upstairs, you're still below 2,000 square feet.
That's true.
Gotcha. And then you got to go in and make sure you have a window that they can escape because the basements need to be like, is the window big enough? Like how much money are you getting? Sometimes don't try and make a square peg fit in a round hole.
Right.
And I love, this is a really good comment. I really like this. Where did it go? Mike said, I love how Ingryd's focus is helping the seller first.
Yeah.
Always, just if you guys have not seen us talk about this before, typically we're trying to see what do you want to do. But if you notice what Dawn said, the homeowners want to sell. So that's why we're talking about the sales process. But yeah, what Ingryd mentioned, you can even see Tanisha. She brought Tanisha's post up here. There are a lot of grants and a lot of funds with your communities that we push people to it all the time. Go try and get assistance here. I do know for Phoenix, we've been pushing a lot of families to it. They are tapped out. Phoenix has been tapped out. We've had people being turned away. Well, there's other ways they can get help. We tell them about utility assistance. There's so many things. If you look in your community and look what's available, churches help out. Make sure you're active in your community for those little assistance funds that are available to jump in.
I would say a wrap is probably your best bet on this one, though. And I would put a sign. Guys, if you're going to do wraps, the bandit signs are still the thing that sells wraps. So have him put if you go that route, just have a post possession for the wrap and just get that going and use the wrap money to fund reinstating the loan. Or I don't even think is a reinstatement scenario yet. This is just somebody late.
Yeah.
His late catch up the late payments and then give them something to be able to move on.
Yeah. And to your point about it's always about the seller first. Absolutely. The only reason we're considering a selling point is because he lost his job and he doesn't know if he's going to go back to work or not. And so his best bet is to sell and then just rent because he won't be able to afford the payments just on his disability unless he can get assistance. And then there's no telling for how long he can get assistance for. if he doesn't have a job. So, or how long that'll last.
Yeah.
So
Don, there's also other resources you can do for affordable housing. I mean, there's the Family Promise. I mean,
Yep.
Pad Split's also another one. There's so many other things inside of your community, the communities where people can get help finding affordable housing.
Yeah. Toledo's just not my main market, so I was like, I don't even know how to handle this and see what we can do to do something to help. But I really wanted to make sure that we were thinking about it the right way and that I wasn't missing something, but knowing that there are definitely programs for mortgage assistance, then I will definitely heavily research that more.
Yeah, check it out. Just Google, like, I'm behind on my payments. How can I avoid a foreclosure? There's like, even with the housing and urban development for the Fed, they have so many things on their website that you can use. So check those out. Let me know when you get all the details on it. Again, Ingryd, Tanisha just said that Patrick does wraps in Ohio. Not sure about Toledo, but you can reach out to them.
Cool.
I couldn't tell you a ton about Ohio. I ran away from the Midwest for a reason, but help the homeowner. If there's a way that you can spread out and give them more equity over time with a creative option where cash and nobody else is able to do it, that's incredible. You're going to change. You could change somebody's life by giving them a chance to not have their credit ruined forever, giving them something rather than nothing where everybody else is lowballing them. That's a really cool opportunity. So thank you for going out and leading with value when you're telling other people to reach out to you and when you're speaking to homeowners. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to just follow in your footsteps, ladies. I mean, you guys are crushing it.
Well, hey, it's good to see you when you come back out to Phoenix.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe in a couple months.
Don't. You should wait. We're about to. It was hot today. I took a little walk for a moment at 1 o'clock, and I was like, "Oh, it's 80. It's 80 degrees." So,
are you going to Squat Up Summit, Don?
Oh, you know it. I'm going to be there. You guys are going to be there, right?
I'll be there.
Yes.
I'll see if maybe I can convince Caroline. We'll see.
What?
I'm not going. I'm not going.
Okay, what if I gave you your $100 when we go to the roulette table?
I think that was from 2022. Was that 2022 or 2021?
Right.
What's the interest on that
So 12% interest. I'll give you the interest.
No, we'll see. I had not planned on going, just because I'm getting my pipeline, so I have more consistent deals closing. So
hey, if you got to stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. But yeah, exactly. I do want to see you soon. Hopefully.
Absolutely. I'm glad I got to see you on here. It's nice. I love seeing that you're. Are you still doing stuff with Mike?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Love it. Keep going. Keep telling people that you're buying deals and that you're helping homeowners, because you're gonna have more opportunities come in the pipeline from that. So that's really cool. Congratulations, Don. How many deals have you done now? I'm just curious.
25, 24.
25 deals. Dang, girl. Mm-hmm. When did you get your first? How long did it take for you to get your first deal to close?
A whole freaking year.
Whole freaking year.
Right down to the very day almost. So
really,
yeah.
What would you tell yourself now compared to when you first got started to get deals to close more consistently?
Ooh, when you think you're working hard, you're not really working hard. Like you're distracted, right? Stop doing multiple things when you are telling yourself that, oh, this doesn't work. Guys, pick one thing. Really get down to the nitty-gritty in that one thing and get good at it. And then meet people that are doing that consistently like you want to be and connect with them. The more people you know, the better in the space that you're in. So find the people that can help you along the way, and then you have to be really honest with yourself on how hard you're actually working. Because trust me, you're not working as hard as you think you are.
I 100% agree with that.
I'm gonna go and be nicer to Dawn from when she first got started, and I would say, you're working hard. You're just working hard in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You don't know where your focus is, and you're like, because I've been there. You're doing a lot of. I'm busy. I'm doing so many things, but is the busyness actually becoming fruitful? So for everybody in here, if you feel similar to that, because I've felt that way. I'm sure Ingryd, you've probably felt that way before too. We're like, I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm trying to help everybody, but I'm not becoming a master at something. What's the book called, Ingryd, for 10,000 hours to become a master?
Dang it. You put me on the spot.
Whatever it is. Google it while I'm asking you. Anyways, the thing is, Ingryd read this book. It takes us 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. Mm-hmm. If you guys, what's the phrase? A jack of all trades is a master of none.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to, we get one skill at a time. and then be pretty good at that, and then add on more tool belts. Get Ingryd to help you with your agent stuff. Get somebody else to help you with, you don't have to have all the answers, but become consistent in sales and marketing, helping homeowners when they're having a really, really tough situation. And that's what's going to become fruitful for you. So, Dawn, I'm being nicer to younger you when you were like, you're not working hard. You were working hard. You just weren't, it wasn't in the most fruitful opportunity. So find people that need help, guys. We get paid to solve problems. So don't forget that. Ingryd, did you find the book?
Yeah, it was Outliers.
Outliers.
Oh,
Check that book out. So think about it.
Mhm.
Like, we only know LeBron James. I actually saw LeBron James in an interview the other day. He was one of the, if you guys don't know LeBron James, I don't know how, but if you don't know LeBron James, he went from high school straight to the NBA. And his friends were going to college down in Akron and Ohio State and everything. And they're like, come down, you got to come down and party with us. And he's like, you don't realize, to be as good as I came, I said, like, your loved ones are going to not see you as much. You're going to sacrifice sleep. You're going to sacrifice out on opportunities with other people because he wanted to become the best. And I remember I was in like 5th grade when LeBron James went into the NBA, but I remember everybody's like, he's not that great. Like they'd give him a hard time. Kobe Bryant missed so many shots, and he realized, I love watching little motivational videos in my morning. Kobe was like, my first year, I didn't have the legs. I'm playing more games in the NBA. It's not the same as when I was in high school. I'm getting exhausted. So he practiced in the off season. He got more shots because people are like, he's selfish. He's shooting an air ball. You've got to put in the work when nobody's watching to be seen as the great. So that's what separates really successful people from those that are trying to get the thing done. You just need more practice. So Dawn, congratulations. I'm just saying, be nicer to yourself next time you do a new task. And everybody else in here, be nicer to yourself. Go, whatever you're doing, just go all in on it and don't quit. So Ingryd, do you have anything else you want to give to Dawn before we let her get back to her night?
No, I love it, Dawn. I'm really happy to see you, getting it done. I love that you're already in the 20-something deals. That's amazing. I will say kudos to Caroline too for staying focused. We were all talking about Squad Up, but like my business model is JV still. So me networking and talking to other people in the business works for me because of what I do, versus Caroline. She's like belly to belly with sellers, and that's not what she's going to get to going to Squad Up. So I commend her, and I'm so proud of her for staying focused. She needs to hurry up and sell me a deal, but yeah, for sure.
Hey, I'm trying. It's slow and steady. So, but that's Squad Up would just give me anxiety. Be like, oh my gosh, I'm not able to answer enough calls. Like what's going to be a big thing that's going to pan out? Do I want to go to Squad Up? Absolutely. But am I in that season right now? No. So just be mindful of what's the best season for you. Where are you going to get the most juice for your squeeze? What's the best opportunity? So Dawn.
Season and business focus. Does it align with what you're focused for your business? So Dawn, if you're direct to seller and you're going to Squad Up, understand that your business might hurt if you've not been automated. And that's just something you have to be very aware of.
Yeah. No, I agree with you ladies 100%. And I will be nicer to myself, Caroline, I promise.
Please. I had a session with my therapist earlier. We've got to talk about being nice.
And guys, I didn't do those 25 deals alone. This is the last thing I'll say is there were so many people involved in all of my deals. So don't be a lone wolf. You guys need to squad up with each other and find someone that can solve your problem or that you can help solve a problem. So just keep that in mind, that I didn't do this alone. My amazing business partner, Mike Jackson, and everyone that's on our team and all of the baby elephants that we did deals with, our title team, everybody. So just remember, you can't make $1 in this business alone. So don't be a lone wolf. All right, I'll let you guys get back to your show. Love you guys.
Thank you, Dawn. Nice to see you.
Hi, Dawn.
That's a really good note for everybody, guys. You've never made $1 by yourself. There's always been somebody that's helping you out. So you can't get anywhere with that.
In fact, that's how money works. I think one thing that people don't talk about is like, what is money? Money is a debt moving from one person to another. So you can't actually make money without having an exchange of people saying, I owe you and you owe me. So that money works with people. It doesn't work singularly. So, yeah.
Well, guys, we're already at 5:00. I know I'm starving. I need to go get out of here and go eat because I'm going to go to sleep early. Ingryd has to go make some more phone calls with her JV opportunities. If you guys have not already, I'm going to just make sure you can see. If you look at Ingryd's name over there, Ingryd, point to your name down on your bottom right. There you go. Ingrid Hernandez, Ingrid_Hernandez is how you can message her. You guys know you can message me on Instagram. We will reply back to you guys. I'm a little bit slower right now. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are like my busiest days of the week. But I want to make sure that we have, I love that. Let me go grab that. And that's another good point you just brought up. Why don't you throw it on the screen?
I wanted to close up with, there's a few things happening. They have, Marlon and his friend Andrew Lidner, and they have a few other folks. If you guys haven't figured this out, go to peertopark.com. They are raising money to fight human trafficking. So we will probably mention them for the rest of the shows that we do to remind you guys to go and donate money to help with the Peer to Park. Caroline, wouldn't it be cool if we showed up in New York when they ended? Just saying. I love New York. Just saying.
I've never actually been to New York. That could be a potential. I think they're going to be there May 14th, 15th.
Okay, that's during really hot time in Arizona. Why not? We'll go bunk up with Chris JB.
There you go.
Yeah. So please go to Peer to Park. It's a really amazing cause. And then the other thing I was going to mention is that please follow me on Instagram. We're going to be making an announcement of where we will be on Saturday. If you guys know, what's Charlie? I don't remember his last name right now. Rocket. Thank you. Charlie Rocket is pushing for a day of 1 million acts of kindness. Yeah. So on Saturday, we are going to be registering all our our acts of kindness. So you'll see me post about it on Instagram. I think we're going to go meet up at a local Sprouts here in Arizona, help people with like their groceries to their car. I think we might be handing out some coconut water, giving out flowers, things like that, because Charlie Rocket has a contract with Sprouts. So we want to support all the good deeds that he's trying to get out there. So we're trying to get to 1 million good deeds on Saturday. So 2 things. Go to Peer to Park and donate. And then if you're here in Arizona, come see us on Saturday. Check out my Instagram and we'll tell you exactly where we'll be and at what time.
Oh, guys, come hang out with us. We want to meet you guys. We want to do deals with you. The whole purpose of this podcast is to help you get your first deal. Leave your W-2. Do more with your family. Do what makes you happy. Don't build somebody else's empire. Build your own. Set yourself up for success. Again, we are here every Wednesday night at 4 o'clock Arizona time. If you have questions, bring them next week. Holler at us. Message us. We'll get back to you when we can. Share. We would really appreciate it too. I'm going to ask you, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to our channels, make a comment below. What do you wish we would have covered? What should we be covering to help you guys out with these deals? I would love to help underwrite and show you guys what looks like a deal. We will even call sellers for you. If you guys have somebody you need us to call and talk to, we can make that happen. I've thrown the phone over to Ingryd a few times when I've had a tough seller. She is bilingual. Spanish is her first language. So if you guys need help with anything, we are here for you. We want you guys to get a deal done. And I have actually, last week I did give out some lists. So if you guys did want a list, I have a list of leads here in Phoenix that are in pre-foreclosure. I've already skip traced them. You guys can call them. Just message me on Instagram and I'll send that over to you. Ingryd.
Wow. Thank you. And Caroline, the closer, obviously send her your opportunities so that she can close those bad boys up. I feel like a mom where I'm like, I'm so proud of you. Like your skills on sales, even this podcast, just the way that you command what you're saying and how you control. And you're such a much better public speaker. I can't wait to see you on more stages. You're amazing. And I'm so proud to be your podcast partner.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. You know what, guys, I have a secret. I have not always been this good. There's been a time where I was really excited and I talk really fast and nobody really understands what I'm saying. And it's not always what it's been like, because when I'm talking really fast, people get really confused. So I have to remind myself when I'm talking to homeowners and when I'm doing a podcast and when I'm doing coaching, I need to slow down and make sure people are not feeling overwhelmed. And it's just, I process information really fast. Also, I can't retain things when people are talking sometimes. I was writing notes down. I wrote down what Don was saying so I can make sure that I can retain it. Yeah, so we want to do a good job giving you answers, but you've got to understand how you work. Know thyself. First, know thyself so you guys can be successful. So everybody on here, so happy to see. Oh, I love that Bridget's been on here too. Bridget got to go door knocking with me a while ago. Everybody, if you guys do come out to Phoenix or if you're around here, We would love to see you. We'd love to help you get your first deal. And just thank you. I cannot believe this. Also, Diana Hernandez just sent me money. She said that podcast was fire. She sent me money for pizza. So maybe I will go get pizza now because of Diana. So Diana, thank you. You did not have to do that. Guys, I hope you had a great Easter. Take care of yourself. Put your oxygen mask on yourself. We'll see you next Wednesday at 4:00. Ingryd, thank you so much. Tell Mark I said hi. Everybody, have a great evening. We will see you next Wednesday.